Hi, good morning. It's time. Welcome to our first day of Foundations with Gymnasia Strength and Movement. Today we're going to do a full workout, which means we're going to do a warm-up, and I'll leave that. We're actually just going to work out together. So we're going to do a warm-up, which is also what we call our daily dose. So these are the kinds of movements that we teach to do on most days of your life. We teach you work out a couple times a week and you move most days of your life. So we'll go through a warm-up here, warm-up and daily dose. And then I'm going to teach the movements for our focus and the complements for our focus. So that's our the most important part of our workout. So we always choose something that we're going to focus on. And bring a little more intensity or bring a little more intention to that particular aspect of our practice. And then the complements are there to round out our workout, to balance out our patterns so that we're not just overusing parts of the body or kinetic chains of the body. And then we'll do a finisher, and finishers can be different depending on what the nature of the focus workout is. So today is going to be more of a stretchy finisher. And then, so just a simple cool down, and then I'll talk a little bit about what's to come. So that's the structure of the workout, and that's the structure of the workouts as we've always taught them. So nothing too new there. Let's get moving. I'm going to switch out my boards here, and so I have some cues about what we're doing here. I am also going to use a timer. I don't always do this, especially when I do it on my own. I don't always want something beeping at me when I'm practicing, but I'm going to use a timer today to keep us on schedule. So we're going to do 1 minute on each of the next 8 movements. So I'll lead and coach you through them. Do the best you can. That goes with anything else today. Something doesn't quite feel right, please modify. You probably have some experience exercising and doing stuff, so please modify as you are able. And then if you really have questions, you can reach out to us, of course, ex post facto later on, and we can absolutely help you. So, all right, I think we should actually do some things. Okay. First movement here is a body weight hinge. So a body weight hinge or hip hinge. I want you to start standing up tall and find your heels. So nice and connected in your heels, and then sit your pelvis back. So reach your butt back. Notice that my knees get soft. And then I fully extend at the top. Try to put a little length into my hip flexors here. You can kind of do like a karate stance here to activate your shoulders and help to keep your spine line straight as you hinge. So always starting nice and slow. We don't just start throwing intensity at the body. We ease our way in. After you get a few of these under your belt, you can also make some slight adjustments, sweeping side to side as you hinge over. But notice I'm keeping my spine line straight. I'm not changing the line from my head down to my hips. That stays straight. I'm not bending over and curling over. Keep strong and then sit back. My knees are soft. Good. Switching it up. Mountain and valley. Now we're going to come down, put our hands on the ground, start in a plank, and then dig your feet into the ground to pull your hips up. Again, my knees are soft here. It's like down dog if you're familiar with yoga, but knees are going to be soft. And then as I come forward, I drop my hips down as I feel able. Totally fine to touch your knees down. You dig your feet in to pull up. And then down into extension. That's valley. Those who know this one know that you can also add dips. This is fairly intermediate to an advanced movement. So unless you're really confident in your push-ups, don't throw these right away. The flexion and extension is more important than adding in that little push. Back to our feet, rolling squats. Feet underneath your hips, arms sweep back. And then I'm going to sit down, and at the bottom of my half squat here, I'm going to sweep my arms up, and then everything comes up together. So I sweep back, drop down, and then come up. Try to find a circular rhythm. Even though my legs are just going up and down, my arms will help to make this feel more rhythmic and fluid. And then you can gradually pick the pace up. The idea here is loading and unloading your springs. So if you treat this like a jump without jumping, you'll get the idea. Shake it off. Next one, back roll to lunge. So try to keep today's pretty simple. This one has a little bit of flavor to it. But we'll start with a back roll. Strong center. Curl yourself over. So as you roll back, make yourself a little ball and then come up. Put a hand off to the side and transition up into a lunge. And then I'll just transition back down, roll, switch to my other side, plant my hand, transition to a lunge, and then back down. Eagle squats. So if squatting and squatting deeply is challenging for you, this is a place where you want to have something underneath your heel. So at 6 a.m. in the morning for squatting, I always have a little one-by that I use to help warm my hips up before I do this flat-footed. With your eagle squat, you're going to use your arms here to help lead too. First thing, arms sweep back and then stick your butt out into that hinge. Then you're going to drop your center down and sweep your arms forward as counterbalance. And then everything comes up together. So I'm loading my hamstrings here, hinging myself over, and then I'm compressing down into that tight squat position. Everything compresses together. Of course, only go as deep as you feel comfortable. You don't have to go all the way down to the ground. Only as deep as you feel able. So the next one is a dangle, just a loose hang. If you don't have something to hang from, find a piece of wall. Reach your hands up a little bit over your shoulders. Oh, hello there. And then put some weight into your hands and then drop down away from them. The idea here is we're just trying to create a little traction. So planting our hands and doing a little traction. If you do have something to hang from, that's the ideal. And if you want to work at home, really important to find a way to hang. It's a key. All positions of suspend are key movement patterns. So I'm hanging from just a 2x4 that I bolted to the ceiling. You don't have to have your feet off of the ground. You can put your feet off of the ground, but just something to hang and dangle from. So I'm not working hard. I'm not doing pull-ups. I'm just hanging. Best option of all are rings. Okay, moving on. Pivot lunge. Back up on your feet. Start with a wide stance. And here you're going to pivot over to one side. So that hip turns over. And then I sit into this foot. And then I'm going to sit back and pivot to the other side. So I'm going to try to find a little rhythm here. There's a lot of different things we can do with a pivot lunge. Today we're just going to focus on changing our stance from one side to the other. And you can add a little rhythm here as well. So coil and uncoil. Coil and uncoil. Notice that my spine is tall, sitting on top of my legs. My feet into the ground is what's turning me around. And then last one, a straight arm throw. This is a shoulder circle. I have very low ceilings here, so I can't do it. My dangly arms are going to whack the joists. So I'm going to do this for my knees. Fully extend, and then I'm going to circle one arm more to the front of the body, so the clock face will be in front of me rather than the side. Those are great too. These tend to be a little bit more decompressive, so easier to circle more to the front, harder to circle more to the side. I have another arm, so I'm going to do that one too. You have two directions. When you're just warming up, it doesn't matter so much. We just want to put some joint movement, especially through the shoulders. These also can be done 2 at a time, alternating. And that can be a nice way to really feel the fluid component of that movement. I want my arms, when I'm circling, to be fast enough that they're pulling away a little bit from the joint. So there's, again, some more traction. So those are our daily dose, our 8 movements. I'm actually repeating these all week. I might throw a little jazz in there in the meantime, but these are going to be static all week long. So let's talk about what we're going to do for our workout. 3 movements. Today's workout is a power workout. Power means releasing force. So instead of moving slow and strong, like with a push-up, or still and strong with a plank, we're going to be working with power. That means expressing force. Power should be fluid. Think float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. So it shouldn't feel like, it should feel like you kind of let it go, a little catharsis. So we need some swing weights. We're going to do some lateral leaps and some back rolls. Now the swing is the hardest thing to do with a mixed group that I don't know if I've taught you how to swing yet. So I'm going to give you some options. It might be that today the swing isn't the thing. And you might be doing something that's more slow and more steady to get the movement pattern down that powers the swing. So let's start there. We already did some for our warm-up, and that is the body weight hinge. Here, I'm going to create some action at the upper, in my scaps, retraction action. So I'm going to hold my arms back, strong center, and then I'm going to sit back and find my hamstring. So this is just a body weight hinge. Totally fine to do just body weight hinges. One step up is if you have a little weight of any sort, it doesn't have to be a kettlebell, that you can hold close to you. This will just help to load and give you a little bit of one weight to retract against so that you don't do this business. But it'll give you a little bit more weight so you can feel your hips working. Glutes and hammies are your hip extensors, and that's what's doing the primary movement of the hip hinge, which powers our swing. So that's progression 2. The next progression, we're going to hang the kettlebell in our hands. And know that with kettlebells, you don't have to mash all of your fingers into the handle. Rock and roll hands. These are your 2 strongest fingers, middle 2 fingers. That's the ones that you really want to have in contact with your bell. Another with all hinges and even swings, if it's foreign to your body, sometimes it's easier if you take a wider stance. This will help you, because most people, what they want to do is use their knees whenever they bend over. They want to bend down with their knees and or their back, something like this. And just looking at me, you can see why we throw our backs out so often. So I instead want to use my hips. And by taking that wider stance and give you a little bit easier access to your hips, and it'll make you less likely and less able to use your knees or overuse your knees. So this is a hanging deadlift. A deadlift generally has the weight dead on the ground. That's why it's called a deadlift. This one is going to be hanging, so we just load and unload our springs. In this case, our springs are hip extensors. And this is the same movement as a swing, only the bell is just going up and down. It's linear. When we go to swing, we go from algebra to calculus because we start adding a curve. And that's what we're going to do next. So a low swing. I'm going to pin my arms to my body, strong center, and I'm going to sit back and forth. Notice that the bell now creates a curve. The movement is a pendulum back and forth. So load my hips, unload my hips. And I'm just keeping the weight at and synced with the movement of my pelvis. So as my center sits back, the bell goes back. As my center comes forward, the bell comes forward. And these, as you get your rhythm, progress to full swings. So full swing will be letting the bell swing up to about rib height. And there's a float component at the top. Notice that for a moment, I release all of my tension and I just let the bell go. And you can let the bell go. Don't do that. But you can, because effectively you've thrown the bell up and then you're waiting to catch it on the way back down. You're not fighting it up and down all the time. As I say, with all the fast lifts with kettlebell, it's your dance partner. It's not your sparring partner. You're not trying to crush it. You're not at war with it. You're trying to work with the weight, sync with it. So swings. If you are doing one of the slow versions, we're going to swing for 20 reps. I would recommend swinging or doing one of the other slower versions just for 10 reps. It'll be enough, and you'll be focused on the movement, not on the number. If at any point somebody puts a number on a whiteboard, whether it's on YouTube or anywhere else, and that number doesn't match the number in your body, you follow the number in your body. It's principles, not prescriptions, not just the numbers. It's the movement that matters most. Next one, lateral leap. So this one's a little more straightforward, more common to things you've probably done before. We'll start, if you're not going to leave the ground, you're going to start this by shifting to one foot and then jumping laterally, so sideways, to the other foot. So just step and step. For these, try to sync and pause. So instead of just kind of doing a little dance move, try to sync and hold yourself. Actually, do a dance move. That sounds more fun. But you can create a shape here while you sit into that foot. And then it just progresses to leaping, to leaving the ground. So a leap is a jump from one foot to the other. Start on one foot, start on the other. And I like to change up my angle. So I'm not going to just go back and forth. I have a little bit of room to play with, and I'm going to play with it. A rep on those is going to be right and left. So 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. 10 of them. Or as I've always found to say, it's also 20 for those who count very strictly. So it's going to be 20 lateral leaps. Then the last one is back roll to candle. So coming back to rolls, find your butt, strong center, roll yourself back. The candle shape is, and I would encourage start by pushing into the ground to create more base. So it looks like this. The candle shape is where I'm going to extend my body down here on the shoulder stand portion. If that's too much, just back rolls. You're not loading into your neck or your head. This position is called shoulder stand because I'm on my shoulders. And you should be able to perform the owl test back here. That means I can turn my head while I'm in my shoulder stand because I'm not loading my head. So that said, if you have the range and you feel comfortable allowing your body to extend, then you're going to reach your legs up and extend. Again, using hands as base will make this a lot easier. Squeezing your legs together using your center line will help create more ab and core tension. So create a nice straight line with your legs as you reach up. We'll do 10 of those too. So I'm going to put time on for this. Swings are our focus, so that means my last set, I'm going to try to do more reps. I'm going to try to ramp up in weight with each set that I do. So we're going to go through this three movement series. And I'm going to focus on my swings by bringing a little more intensity. You may have only one bell, no problem. On the last one, if you feel strong, add some more reps. So we'll do a max last. And that a max is always just to movement failure, not to muscle failure, especially with power movements. But we'll say that for our last round. Your last round may be a little bit more or at a different pace than mine. I'm going to put 10 minutes on, and we're going to do the workout. I'm going to play a little music. If you don't like my music, turn down the volume. If you like the music, I don't know how much I can transfer over there. Go for it. I'm going to turn up the volume. And then we're going to, I'll try to wave around a little bit here and call you back in for our cool down. So with that, let's put 10 minutes on. Swings, lateral leaps, and candles. If you want to come along with me for the first round, great. And then if I'm at a different pace than you are, awesome. Do your thing at your pace. Twenty swings, 10 lateral leaps. And then back rolls, candles. So power can be pretty intense. Okay, and advisable to shake it out a little bit in between sets, in between rounds. Our focus isn't stamina, although there will be a stamina component to it, but that isn't the focus. To try to just keep chugging and chugging. I would rather take a little break and get ready to swing, for me, what will be a heavier weight on our next round. Round two, fist bumps to you. All right, so that was 2 rounds for me. We're at the halfway point, so I'm gonna see if I can get 2 more rounds in, but throwing a little more weight. All right, next round will be our last round. So in this one, throw some more reps on your swing if you feel like you have them. You can also up the ante by throwing higher swings, so throwing for forehead height. Key is that a high swing shouldn't come from your arms and your upper body doing this trap shrug up. It should all come from the hips. So you just got to put more force into it to let it fly up a little higher. Now I got to go faster because I talk. So if you're in the middle, finish up your set. Hey, nice work. You can give some knuckles to your neighbor over there, whoever it may be. I'm just going to hit my foundation. I actually don't know how loud my music was for you. Maybe you couldn't hear it at all. I'm going to turn that down as well. So for cool downs, it's nice if you can bring the intensity of the room down too. So if it's easy for you to shut off the lights, shut off the lights. I'm going to go shut mine off here quick. So we're going to use that mountain and valley movement, but we're going to use it not dynamically back and forth. We're going to hang on the ends of it a little bit more. So you can start with a plank, come up into mountain. We'll start just pedaling our feet. So gently creating some more length into the back of your legs. For here, I don't care so much about the shape of my upper body. That's not my emphasis here. And then I'm going to hang actively on one leg. So the other leg I'm just going to hook behind. By active, that means even though I'm putting length into it, I'm also still going to activate the muscles of the leg. So instead of just trying to passively push more length into there, I want to actively pull myself into a little deeper fold on that leg. And then switch to the other side, same deal. And you can come down. Let's come all the way to our knees, and we can come to elbows here as well. And here I want my arms underneath my shoulder so that I can extend with my scaps, not my triceps, to pull my body up. And I want to get long. So you focus on extending, not just bending the spine. So I'm trying to pull away from my hips. I can create a little bit of side to side spiraling rotational movement. Move my neck. And then if you feel like you can bring your arms underneath you and then push up into a straight arm valley. So this will, of course, change the angle, make it easier to get a little bit more extension through the spine. Again, don't do this if it doesn't feel right. It should only feel decompressive. If you feel like you're squeezing into areas of your back, do not do that. Back off. Good. And then you can come to kneeling and shake out your arms and shake out your wrists. And we'll do just a simple kneeling twist here as well. So stack up. Your knees are now your heels, nice and tall on top. And then give yourself an easy twist. All right, we did it. Nice work, everybody. So tomorrow, same time, same channel. It's going to be a daily dose day, not a full workout day. But after the daily dose, I'm going to then do some teaching. So come back for teaching on some of the movements, or just come back to get the daily dose in. I am going to also go a little longer on each set of those, so that we can get some blood pumping and some juices flowing with that. Since I won't be teaching it quite as much as this round, I'll be leading it a little bit more. But again, tomorrow, goal isn't to work out every day. The goal is to move every day. And then some of those days with focus, we're going to bring some more intensity, and we're going to do a longer training session or a workout. But to not just try to crush as much workout as possible. You want to spread it out so that your body has time to recover. And then you have time to get more out of the days where you do work out instead of just a hodgepodge or whatever. Thank you very much for those who got up early with me. I have 2 girls sleeping in a tent right above me. I don't think they woke up. So I think that's the biggest win of the day down here in the muscle house anyway. So I hope you have a great day, and I hope I see you tomorrow. Thank you.